I've completely transformed this corner of the room. Let's see how I did it.
It's morphin' time!
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Hello, this is Soundout here, and today we're going to do an updated collection tour of the comic collection because I completely redid everything. Like, this entire, wall behind me was entirely different like a month ago. So this has been like an ongoing project for a little while, and I decided to film the progress, transforming it from what it was to what it is now. What it is now is probably my favorite configuration of what it has been, ever. For one thing, I can just sit on the floor. There's no interference, which is crazy because I've been kind of in a space problem. I've been working on it. So anyways, the point being, this is like a whole process to get to this point. So you should see the process, and then I'll give you a tour of what's different, what's new, what's happening, that sort of thing, because this is the best it's ever been for me. So I'm really excited about this. So before we begin, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and the notification bell if you haven't already. Do appreciate that. Hit the hype button if it's available to you, and let's get to it. Let's go through the process. I don't know how those clips are going to mesh together because I, again, worked on this for weeks. I'm looking at another shelf you can't even see in this angle. So let's get to it. Let's go through the process of how we got here and then show what we got. So I'm in the process of redoing all the shelves. As you can see, all the Marvel Legends have been stripped from the shelves. I'm not going to use these shelves anymore. I don't know exactly what's going in its place, but I have an idea. So all the Marvel Legends are in tubs right now, except for the guys that obviously would not fit in tubs. They're just too big to fit in tubs. So that's just not happening. So I'm working on this, right? This is stage one. Here's some Batmobiles and stuff that need to move, and there's some Omnis, because what I'm getting, what's going to happen, is that this shelf over here, which had Marvel Legends on it, which now just temporarily has some Fantastic Four that just arrived, and some other figures that need to move. This shelf is going to get replaced, all the way up here, with a nice, IKEA Billy shelf. And that'll be for my epics, my paperbacks and stuff. Will go on this wall, and they can take those Omnis. That's going to stay a CD rack because, I like my music. But then over here, in this shelf, which has been the epics, has been fine, except that, all the shelves are bowing. And it's becoming a problem. It's already a couple little strats busted on it. So this is getting replaced with a double wide K-Lex shelf from IKEA. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I don't know where all of this is going to go, right? I don't know where this is going to go or some of this stuff. That's tomorrow's problem, basically. This is still going to stay because these are two shelves built together and put into the closet. So this is going to stay. The top's probably going to change. I'm probably just going to redo everything because I'm going to have to pull all this stuff out. But right now I'm just kind of there's the Omnis and books and stuff that need to go on the shelves. I'm planning on getting them towards the closet because what I'm going to need here, I'm going to move all these to a different room. I'm going to move everything here to a different room. Is I need this room here to build the shelf. I can build the shelf here, take and remove that, take and remove those, put that shelf there, and then that shelf there, and then put maybe this bookcase over here for the Marvel Legends. I need something kind of short so that the tall guys can stand, and then I need to do something. That's a lot of wasted space because Legends only go up a little bit. So that's all getting done. This is a kind of just I don't know, here is the standby of things, right? That's all. Look, I got too many One-Piece pops, so now this is overtaken. So that needs redoing. And then I got had guys I got Kaido in dragon form. So, anytime someone comments, it's why don't you do a room tour? It's because of this. This is the current chaos, but it's going to be great whenever I get this product done. So I want to document it a little bit because it's thought it'd be interesting video content at the very least. So we'll see how it goes, and then I'll show you guys the next stage, which will probably be when I get this shelf up, because I'm just going to move all this stuff out of here, and then I'll put the new shelf here, and then we'll come back, and then we'll see where we're at that point. All right, we're at the stage where the shelves have been delivered. Here's the first one with my book cover and the important information. This is going to be here, which, based on the height, it should fit nicely. Give me a little bit of room up top. I've kind of had to take a lot of things apart. Like we're kind of at the stage where I had to move the music over. I had to kind of put stuff over here just for now. Kind of needed to reorganize this because basically I'm going to build this and I'm going to take all of this, put this on this, and then figure out where this is going. I haven't exactly quite like 100% figured all this out yet, but it should be pretty good. It should be pretty good. You know, it's going to be like a lot of reorganizing the books once I get the shelves going, but I just don't think I had the room to take like the epics off the shelf until I build this shelf so that they can go from here to here. And hopefully this is enough floor space. Hopefully this is enough floor space to build this in. We'll find out. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, we'll just, I don't know, zoom into these two. And then we'll catch you in a moment. I have built the Billy. This is the IKEA Billy bookshelf. Not sponsored. It's just what I'm using. The thing is, the Billy, pretty easy to build, all things considered. It was a lot of like, you know, wooden dowels and just some screws and stuff. Pretty easy. Not easy. This thing's taller than me. I'm like 6'2", and this thing's towering over me, and I had to figure out like the whole spacing to build it. But once I built it, I'm like super happy with this. This is perfect. This is perfect. See, I've got this is going to be like paperbacks, right? So I sized it for the paperbacks, which means I can just grab the paperbacks off the shelf. This previous shelf, I kept having to grab them from the side because there wasn't enough room. Then the shelves bowed, which is like part of the problem. But these, ooh, this is a nice sturdy, and I can it's evenly spaced and can fit paperbacks. With this one, when I have them evenly spaced, one shelf had to be shorter. That was just how it went. But this is beautiful. This is everything I wanted. I'm so excited. I'm going to fill this up before I tear that out and then build the Kallax to go in there for the Omnis. So, very excited. Very, very excited. Also, there's room up there, and I'm wondering, actually, I'm going to test this live. Is there enough room I could put my Treasury editions up there? Ooh, that's an option. That's awesome. All right, so I've got all the Epic collections into the shelf. You can see I've got a little bit of room down there, which is nice. I've also got some room up here. I'll try to figure out like how to put the Treasury editions and stuff up there. And then also part of this process is emptying this out. So I've taken the shelves out, taken all the books out. So I've got some books to move. There's just the Omnis. The reason I need a new shelf is because of these. So this wasn't working because those kept warping. So now we're here, and I'm hoping everything fits. That's going to be the next trial. Like, maybe there's some stuff that doesn't need to stay, like the X-Men adaptations. Maybe, I don't know, Muppet Babies. They may go to a different shelf at a different time. But, yeah, we'll see. Like, this is good for epics. This is the Omnis. I'm hoping the shelf I bought is going to fit in this space and hold these books. So, stay tuned. All right, the Kallax is in place. It's looking nice. I'm really, really happy with this. I've kind of decided that this is going to be, you know, obviously it's the Marvel omnibuses. I don't have as many Marvels as I do DC. So it's totally cool. Like, it starts there with Agent Venom, and I got everything down there. I even got, you know, I got the Muppets, and I stuck the Muppet Babies behind. I sometimes wonder how I have the Muppet Babies besides it just being Muppets. So what I've done is I got my Marvel ones. I put my DC versus Marvel there. And then I'm gonna put statues in front. I think I was thinking about this, and I was like, oh, do I want to leave it empty? And I was like, no, I could stick my Daredevil statue there. Looks real nice. My She-Hulk, my Wolverine, that kind of thing. Then up here, I think for now, until I have too many Marvel Omnis that fit this shelf, because I don't know, life's inevitable at some point. Just got like my Mirage compendiums, some of the other stuff. This Ghost in the Shell box set needs to go with the manga, right? Like I have a manga shelf, and then I just got some other like oversized hardcover stuff there. I was thinking of keeping my signed books in the back corner so they're kind of nice and safe. Probably going to stick some other stuff up here. Maybe some smaller stuff. Maybe some of these, like the Funko Pops of Storm and stuff, could go up here. The CD rack, the movie CD rack here, is there. I used to have it kind of facing outward, right? So I've got it up against the wall, nice and neat. This needs a home. I'm thinking maybe up there. I mean, I got room up here, and I got some big-ass books, so maybe those will just be up top. But I want to make sure they're secure. I think it's like, I think I have some metal bookends that would hold them real nice. But yeah, this is going to stay epics. This is going to stay epics. I mean, down at the bottom, I got a little bit of room with some event stuff, but it's gonna stay epics, I think. And then for DC, I'm gonna redo all this too. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick with DC. I'm gonna stick with DC Finest, compendiums, some of the modern thick trades like the Jaime Reyes stuff, and then the Omnis, obviously, and then everything else is just gonna leave the shelf. I'm gonna figure that out because I kind of like I like having normal trades for stuff that I like. You know, there's like certain series like Legion, right? Only normal trades. I have a bookshelf in the back that I don't use that much, and I'm gonna think about redoing that. Maybe just stick all my kind of normal trades in the back, and then just stick to Omnis and Epics and Finest, like the things, the nice spines, right? Because like a lot of these, I'm not going to be just randomly pulling off here and reading Green Arrow Longbow Hunters anytime in the next 5 years because I just read it and my memory's pretty good at comics reading, so it's like it's got to be a while before I want to reread it. So I'm like, oh, I want to make the stuff that looks the best, and then like specifically like Omnis need to be on shelves. It's not good to leave Omnis like stacked for very long, so Omnis are going to take the priority, and then the thick paperbacks are going to go next, and then so it'd be like the Finest and the compendiums, and then anything else that fits will go after that. I kind of want to also stop doing this, you know, this whole I filled the space. I don't want to do that anymore. I think I'll just relegate these to another shelf in the other room. Same with like, you know, you're probably like, oh, where's your IDW Ninja Turtles and your Boom Power Rangers? They got another shelf. They're good to go. These will probably cycle out because, you know, I'm going to have more Marvel Omnis. The first Marvel stuff to leave this shelf will be Jason Aaron's Avengers because I just don't like that run that much, but it has Robbie Reyes and She-Hulk in it, so that's why it's here, because it's why I have it. But, you know, as soon as I need space, it's going. There's some stuff that's going to stay here forever. It's just going to change. I'm not worried about the future. I'm worried about the now. I'm worried about the present. And the present says I need to redo this DC shelf and then go from there, I think. No idea what's going on with all this. Also, I have a big old cabinet here. So, yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done. But this is stage one, and I'm really happy with this. This is really nice, and I'm really happy with this. And I feel like the clutter is just not good. And maybe I also just need to get rid of some of these books. There's maybe some stuff that's like, well, you know, I have this, but do I need to keep it? So we'll see what happens. But that's just the update for now. This is the end of the workday on the 2 shelves, though. I ain't doing any more on this tonight. I am tired. Okay, so I've got a cool little display going. Kind of work this out with the Fantastic Four. I had all these large books, right? And a bunch of them are Marvel, so I just kind of kept to the Marvel ones for the treasuries, the gallery, and then this Fantastic Four full circle. And then just kind of decorated more Fantastic Four because I got this, like the Penguin Classics Fantastic Four, my Masterworks Fantastic Four Volume 1. And so it was like, all right, well, let's get the Fantastic Four pops up there, which is super cool. Also, Human Torch glows in the dark, and I forgot this, and I turned the light off, and I had a bit of a jump scare. Because I was like, what is this red thing with glowing yellow eyes? But anyways, it's, you know, Human Torch. So that's kind of there. Doom is just standing on his box, because it would just be wrong if he wasn't, like, above everybody, right? So, in terms of this project over here, where we're at, as you can see, I've got stuff scattered, but, you know, I've kind of planned this out. For the most part, a lot of this is just kind of random because I was working over here, and I just went for a priority of like thick trades and omnibuses, and then like everything else, just take it off the shelf. As in, it's over here in the other shelf that I don't exactly know what to do with yet. So, kind of where we're at is that, like, you know, Finest go first because they're all nicely lined up, and then it's just alphabetical pretty much. But you know, it's like that's my Animal Man. I'm keeping my Aztec because he's like one of those random obscure characters that I really like. So like that's kind of there. And then it kind of stuck to the really thick trades and compendiums and stuff. I did leave Venditti Hawkman in singles because there's no other collection of it. And I just love that comic. And then I just kind of made like a Legion shelf over there. That's like a mixed format. So, you know, big Legion fan. But you can see the compendiums are starting to like really dominate because DC's just doing a ton of these, which I enjoy. And then, yeah, for the Omnis, they're there. I've got some extra room down at the end. So, you know, there's still several Omnis coming out this year that I'm very excited for. There's like the Zatanna Omnibus, and there's, you know, I think there's Catwoman's coming soon. So, like, there's a bunch of stuff to add to this. So, like, I've kind of planned out there's, like, extra space down there. And then I've got all these deluxe editions that I could, you know, pull some of these if I wanted to. And then, like, you know, He-Man is here for now, but eventually I'll just move it over here. It's just, for now, it's holding space. It can come over here. Because there's probably a third Superman Triangle years coming, and there's a Superman Brainiac Reborn coming, so there's like 2 more Superman Omnis that need to go into here. So it's just going to shift over time. But for now, pretty happy with it. This is cluttered. I got all these figures. They need to find a spot. I don't want the clutter. I've done, in the past, I've done really chaotic shelves where it's like, okay, here's my books, and then here's all my figures in front of my books. I don't want that anymore. I don't know if it's just I'm getting older or I just have had a very cluttered space for a while. Maybe not necessarily cluttered, it was organized, but it felt claustrophobic, and I kind of like the openness, especially here. Like, I would have books stacked here like I showed, but then it's like, yeah, but if I want to read my Batman by Paul Dini omnibus, I can just grab it now, whereas before I'd have to, like, pull the stack of books off, move it over. All right, now I got to kind of grab the Omni, and it's like, so I kind of like this, where I can just kind of pull them from the top, because I don't really like pulling on the spine themselves. That's what, like, these provide, right? Like, these give me enough room to pull from the back. And down there, which I'm not going to get on my knees to show you, it's got enough room I can also pull from the back, as long as nothing's sitting on top of them. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. So it's been a little bit since the last filming segment because, you know, I got that done. Really like that. Got this in place, though I'm not, like, 100% on, you know, order of books and all that. Got my music shelf nice and neat. I had to work on a few things. So, first things first, you're probably like, my God, what is all that? That is books that need a shelf. And that's specifically, that is the Deluxe Power Rangers and the IDW Turtles and the Milestone Returns. And then over here, that whole stack from there down is Hellboy. And so you're probably like, well, why is that all in here, right? And why are these dudes all over here? So, 2 things. First of all, I was going to remake this wall back into Marvel Legends, how it has been for, I don't know, probably too long. I decided against that. I think after redoing these bookshelves, I kind of wanted to make this whole corner like a bookshelf corner, right? Like it's just a comic corner. Very, very much into that idea. So I have a new IKEA ability shelf. This is the widthwise, the normal like IKEA Billy is like, it would stick over the edge. And I was like, nah, I want something a little narrower for here. Plus music shelf. So I got a wide Billy, like the normal Billy going here, and it's gonna, cover all the way down. And I'm gonna, put that up. And then I'm gonna put stuff on that. That's where Hellboy's gonna go. That's where Turtles, Power Rangers, right? Like they're gonna go up there. Maybe Invincible as well, right? Like it's gonna be like the non-Marvel and DC shelf. And then I may put some extra Marvel and DC because I have like normal trades. Like I've been keeping my Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider on the shelf here with the other Ghost Rider for now. But I have a bunch of trades that aren't epics yet, and they aren't omnis. So I want to, maybe that'll be towards the bottom. But anyways, that is coming in a week from recording. So if you notice, because you probably already saw it, this video's a process. I needed a place to film the One Piece viewing guide because when I took all the Marvel Legends down and I took all the Transformers down from a couple shelves, they're all in that space I normally film the viewing guides in, like in front of Castle Grayskull and all that. So that was no good. And then I also thought, it is One Piece. I adore One Piece. I really love One Piece. So I was like, all right, we need to do like a whole special setup. And that's why I'm filming this now, so you guys can kind of see what the behind the scenes look. Because basically, so if I can line this up, that's the angle you saw, right? Like that was all you saw in the video, approximately at least. That's what I'm planning. I haven't filmed it yet. That's kind of what you saw in the video. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to show what I did? So I got the shelves, the Marvel Legends run. That's why these guys are sitting in the closet. I don't know where they're gonna go yet. It's a whole process. I've also got these Kickstarter box sets for Transformers and G.I. Joe to fit in. Anyways, that's a whole process. So that's where my hats are, which I plan to wear in the video. And then this whole shelf here, which was all One Piece stuff, and it started to get out of control. Like I had centered it around my 1000 Sunny model kit, right? That was in the center, and then I had everything around it. And I had like one Funko Pop of every Straw Hat. And I was like, cool, that's like my display. And then, I got the Ivankov Funko Pop, the Boa Hancock, the Smoker, the Rob Lucci, in his animal form. I got the I got the Kaido Funko Pop of him as the dragon because he looks so cool. And I was like, I need to get Big Mom to go with him. And then I've got these statues. So this just stopped working. And so I just kept trying to add stuff. It wasn't working. So I was like, all right, this needs a whole redo. So I thought, what a better time to redo it than One Piece viewing guide. So see how everything works. You know, that's how my brain works sometimes. So basically, this is the set for One Piece viewing guide. So I have, you know, there's like my villains section, right? Villains section up there. Try to put a little bit of each type of merch I have, right? And then basically this has just became like, you know, Vivi, Nami, Robin, Luffy, Zoro. So it's, you know, all straw hats and honorary straw hats. Threw a new sub keychain. Threw some keychains on the wall because I took the Marvel and DC stuff that was on this wall off. So I was like, I'm just gonna toss some keychains up there. You know, the Netflix going merry, just some sporadic things like, you know, an acrylic standee of Sanji, the live action plush, the Wano Robin statue, the Luffy statue with the hat from the first opening. You know, Killer's here because he's underrated. Frankie as a soda can because that's the most appropriate thing to have as a soda can. You know, the Brook with the Laboon. The little, you know, this is like a die cut Frankie. We got the Pop Beppo. We got Law. We got Chopper eating a cake that looks like a book and has Dos Flores on it because it's Robin themed. You know, so there's that. I put the Devil, because I figured I'm going to be standing in front of this area a lot. So I just put the Devil Fruits, the card game boxes, threw Nami there. Decided to get like, you know, friends of Luffy. So we got Yamato and Ace and Sabo. And then everything down here is just not visible, right? So there's that Chopper model kit I reviewed. There's another acrylic standee of Robin. There's a little Sunny Coon statue. You know, this is like, you know, all my small little ships. It's not like totally organized. For a hot minute, I was like, you know, maybe this should just be the One Piece corner. And I just put all this stuff here. And I was like, no, I really want my books up there. This little shelf may stay. Maybe I'll fill that with One Piece stuff. I don't know. Also, here's Marvel Legends that didn't fit in the tubs. Plus ROM, because I didn't want to lose track of my ROM. And then just a couple other things. So that's just kind of there. And then I was like, oh, I need a little display. I had the DVDs. Like I had some of the DVDs sitting on top of the manga box set. And then the DVDs fell over and knocked all the pops into each other. And I was like, all right, that's out. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just put some of the pops here. So, you know, I got, you know, Robin, Nami, and Brook in the vehicles. Got Luffy, Chopper. Got, you know, Sanji, Jinbei. Like the only Jinbei merch I have is the Funko Pop, which is crazy. There's just not enough Jinbei merchandise. But yeah, Frankie, Usopp, and Zoro. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm set. And then I can set my iPad here, prop for video, and we're good to go. So this is what this looks like for temporarily for like a whole week, I think, until the new shelf shows up. Because basically when I'm done with this video and everything's good and it's posted, I'll then move some, you know, obviously all this stuff isn't going to fit over here. Like this Chopper's just going to go back on the bed, right? Laboon's just going to go sit on the bed. They're plushies. They can go sit on the bed. I'm going to have to like range like everything around Kaido, for example, because he's, you know, he's beautiful. So it's going to be a whole process. But like these, I'm going to move over here, and then it'll be completely reorganized, and I'll put a new shelf here. And then I'll come back and show you guys when I put a new shelf up. So that's where we're at. This wall has not been blank for years. It's actually been kind of spooky because I ordered a new shelf, which you can see the backing of there. There it is. New Billy shelf. It's going to go in here, which I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to that. So in the process, it was, you know, I had to move all the One Piece stuff. It's funny because I know my shelves aren't the most organized things at times. This does look like I'm like, yep, that's the final design of my one. No, this is just all haphazard. I mean, it's not much different than some of my other shelves, but like, yeah, I was just like, I just need to put all this stuff here for the moment. So I got all that there, and then this little side shelf has got just all the pops and stuff. The whole One Piece display needs work, but I need to figure out if that shelf is staying once this shelf goes up. And then I can figure out what's going to go here. And then if stuff is going to go here, then that'll change what goes there. And if stuff's not going to go there, then I need to figure out where it's going, right? So it's just all kind of temporary, just like temporary stuff. Yeah, so we got that going on. Also bracketed that shelf into the wall. Don't know if I said that on video yet, because when I put it in, I was like, the weight will hold it into the carpet, and then it just kind of didn't work. And so I'd pull a Epic Collection, the whole shelf would wobble, and I was like, that's no good. So it's so solid now, the pops don't even wobble when you touch it. So that's great. Gonna bracket this one straight into the wall as well. But yeah, time to build this thing. Time to get this thing built. It's time to add a new shelf to an empty wall. All right, there we go. Shelf is assembled. Shelf is nicely put together. Shelf is bracketed to the wall so it doesn't go anywhere because, you know, that's important. Like now it's sturdy. Now it's not moving anywhere. So now, gotta fill it with books. That's the next step. That's the fun step. I guess we should just begin where we need to begin. The new shelf. The brand new Epic Collection shelf. That's basically what this is. So yeah, up top, it's all Fantastic Four. I thought it'd be fun to do this. I think I've already mentioned this in another segment. It hasn't changed much. I did bracket this shelf to the wall, so it's not going anywhere, which is great. And that means it is so sturdy that the pops don't even rattle. So that's awesome. Yeah, those are just, you know, tall Marvel books plus Fantastic Four. And so then we can see, here's my Epic collections. I've been collecting specifically like Black Costume Saga, Amazing Spider-Man. Like that's kind of what I got going on here. We've got all the Avengers West Coast. We've got the one volume of Blade. That's a Midnight Suns tie-in. So I like the 90s Midnight Suns stuff, so I got that. Modern Daredevil of everything we've got so far. Dark Avengers, that Doctor Strange is the Midnight Suns specific issues. And one of the things I wanted to do, as like a side from just the collection, is I just want to be able to pull books off the shelf. Because all my previous book configurations, I had these huge shelves, and had stuff stacked on top of the books, and stuff in front of the books, and then I'd have to like move like 3 or 4 different things to get to the books. Now I can just walk up here and go, yeah, you know what, let me just read Darker Than Scarlet. Is it going to happen that often? No, but I like having it. Same thing with like my Fantastic Four volumes. What's crazy is, you know, this sounds, I don't know if this sounds crazy, hey Zora, but the fun part is that I've actually been reading, I had a backlog of how many epics I hadn't read, and I just started blowing through epics because what I can do is just go, all right, time to read this, and then I read it, and then when I'm done reading it, it just goes right back on the shelf. Instead of having to have like a stack of books, like a reading pile, I can just pick it up off the shelf. And then I kind of know where I'm at in the books too, because you can see the bookmarks, which we'll get to in a moment. That's all Fantastic Four, except for that. That's the only one that didn't fit up here, but you know, I have all but 3 of the Fantastic Four epics, so there's that. Got all the Generation X, got all the Ghost Rider, Classic Guardians, Modern Guardians, all the Hawkeyes, and then yeah, come down here and it's like, okay, I've been reading Marvel 2-in-1 Volume 3, so you can see I can just see my progress kind of like right there, nice and easy. All the Marvel 2-in-1s, all the She-Hulks, all the Silver Surfers except for the first one. That's double dipping with those. I have 2 Thor volumes, which is funny because I actually haven't read War of the Gods. I got this on a sale. I found it in a Target, and it was like marked at $12, and I was like, sure, why not? Haven't actually read it. Also haven't read this, though I probably should, because the new release, I'll include in Comic Haul, this is the Walt Simonson run, finally started in Epics, and so I should probably start reading that, because I need to film the Comic Haul soon. It goes in my Wolverine. Planet of the Apes is sitting here, because it should go here, but then the current configuration of the shelf, it's like too tight. But if I take this Thor out and put Planet of the Apes in, then it's too thin. So I'm not sure what I'm doing with that yet. Just going to sit there until, you know, things inevitably shift around. Here's all my Wolverines. You know, I'm actually read almost all of these. I just have these 2 I haven't read. So I'm doing good there. You know, there's all new Wolverine. Then my X-Men, which I now have 3 of the 4 pre-Claremont volumes. Been reading all the Claremont volumes, which explains the Mutant Massacre I didn't address. That's just, you know, basically it's like where my arm is when I'm standing. So I'll just grab my Mutant Massacre. Because I've been reading these, the Epic Marvel podcast, been doing a daily like reading club for Claremont X-Men, starting with Second Genesis. And so I've been reading along with that, and we're at Mutant Massacre. So that's why that's there. Because down here we don't have Mutant Massacre yet, because we've only gotten up to Wounded Wolf, and then all this is the 90s stuff. These are some of the like Claremont miniseries that he's been doing, where he's going back in time. These are here because these are the ones I haven't read yet in sequence of the Claremont run, that sort of thing. Here is like my Age of Apocalypse volumes, because I think they'll eventually get Epic format as like X-Men Age of Apocalypse epics, or they'll just have something like this. I'll just kind of just keep these for now. New X-Men, the Astonishing X-Men Complete collections that got reskinned as epics. So there's those. And then these are like the slightly thick trades for Wade and Ringo Fantastic Four and Zdarsky Fate of the Four for that. That's just kind of like me putting stuff in because these will eventually probably get cycled out. These might get cycled out, just depending on how this goes. You know, because there's going to be more epics to get, obviously, besides just the ones I don't have. And so I want to be able to, like, adjust the shelf. But the idea is this is just going to be epic collections. And they look really nice like this. They just look really, really nice. So then, like, catty corner to the epic shelf, I have a music shelf, because I do like music. Everything else is books. This we'll get to. Everything else is books, but I did want to keep a music section because I mostly put CDs in my computer and rip them and then put them on my phone. So they're just going to be here. But you can see we got my Live Man Twin Brace here just because it is the Sentai changer I've always wanted, and I haven't wanted to put it back on the shelf yet. Zoro's been sitting here. This is my Man with a Mission Ichiban Kuji statue that I imported out of Japan, where I had to pay a bunch of import fees, which was rough, but I also got this cool, like, plate, and so what I did was I kind of put that. I put the EP I bought when I saw them live, my first CD of theirs, which was the Iron Blooded Orphans opening, and then this one that has a sticker cover. So I could just be kind of like safely in a box. And then here is like the Man with a Mission shelf, right? This is the Robbie Williams shelf. This is the Take That shelf. This is the shared Pat Benatar, Beatles, Sabrina Carpenter, and others shelf. And then pretty much all that is soundtracks except for the Beatles because it just didn't fit up here. But mostly soundtracks, kind of stuff like that. Just little additions. Basically just to have kind of like my music stuff in one spot because I do love my music. So of course one of the main goals of this was the IKEA Kallax for my Marvel Omnis. My Marvel Omnis needed a spot. And I think I've already talked about this. Yeah, I'm sorry if there's anything repetitive. It's just the nature of filming weeks apart. But this is where it's at as it is now. So first of all, like this shelf is kind of just oversized non-Marvel DC. So you can see I got my Cyberpunk library editions here and a couple extra Cyberpunk trades. Because I don't think these are getting reprinted. Because I think Your Voice was a promo comic, and I think these two were also promo comics versus these, which were like, you know, set miniseries. So I'm not sure if these are going to get a library edition, but they're there just in case. The Amazing Screw-On Heads library edition. The Dynamite Thundercats Star Comics reprint. These are the Monsterverse Godzilla Kong stuff in their slipcovers, Pacific Rim Omnibus. That's the first Lady Death Omnibus. Just kind of like that's there for now because I just don't have a better place for it. Just like I still don't have a better place for, look at these Funko Pops. These are all the Fantastic Four ones. They're just kind of, you know, they're off to the side, out of the way, so they don't worry about it. This shelf, as you can see, is statues and ROM because I don't know where these are going to go yet. Haven't decided. Also, I just kind of want to have something that these books were leaning up against just to kind of make it a little easier to eventually expand out, right? So we have my Champions Masterwork is here, so I'm still reading. I find it to be kind of a slow read. It's got Ghost Rider and Hercules and stuff in it, and it's not an easy read for whatever reason. And then, of course, the Marvel and DC Omnis, and plus the other stuff that's not in the Omnis. Those are there because Marvel shelf, DC shelf. Put them there. Kind of thought that would be the easiest. So then we come down to my Marvel Omnis here, which I'll have to come around the corner a little bit. We got Agent Venom, got Jason Aaron's Avengers, not a run I love, as I mentioned before, but that's Robbie Ray's Ghost Rider, it's She-Hulk, so it's there, the Blood Hunt, Red Band hardcover, the Daredevil Omnis I own, which is Nascenti, and then Charles Soule, and the two Zdarsky ones, the Doctor Doom Omni, the two Ghost Rider Danny Ketch Omnis, and then Godzilla is here, and then the rest of these are kind of just filler, right, because we know there's a third one of these coming this year, plus a Benjamin Percy Ghost Rider Omni, so these books will shift around, because the important part with these shelves is I want to make sure they're not too tight so I can still just grab the books off the shelf, but they need to be tight enough that the books don't start expanding in weird ways. So I've left these oversized hardcovers just to kind of float, right? Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, Infinity Wars, and Star Wars Kanan. They're going to float around, and I'll show an example of that in a moment. Because you can see down here we have my three Micronauts Omnis. We got Moon Knight by Jed McKay, and the three ROM Omnis. I'm kind of tempted to move the Moon Knight. Alphabetically it makes sense, but it's just because Micronauts and ROM are both like the Hasbro properties in the Marvel Universe thing, right? We got Savage She-Hulk, and then these two here, this X-Men and Spider-Man and Human Torch. Again, they're filling a gap because the gap there is too big for the Dan Slott She-Hulk. but I want to have something there, so that way these kind of stay together. So we got Dan Slott, got Peter David, got Rainbow Rowell. Still would love a Tamaki and Soul, just to kind of go in there. Silver Surfer Dan Slott, Tomb of Dracula, Wonder Man, early years, X-23. Yep, I said something in a Marvel video where I was like, I don't need the X-23 Omnibus, I'll just wait for Epics, and then I got a deal. We'll see, the Muppet Babies and Muppets Omnibuses, my beloveds. All right, down here, this is, let's see, this is alternate universe. That's what I decided this is going to be. That's why it's X-Men the Animated Series adaptations, and then Spider-Man 2099, Doom 2099, X-Men 2099, and Ghost Rider 2099. So just alternate universe shelf. And then this is Krakoa. And yeah, I know you're like, well, you're just talking about gaps. Why'd you leave a gap? Because Dawn of X comes out in like a couple weeks. So it's going to be here soon enough. I'm going to squeeze it in, and then it's good to go until September when Reign of X comes out. Some people have asked, like, oh, could you do like an omnibus collecting guide for Krakoa? Working on it. I want to make like a specifically omnibus oversized hardcover type thing, because these anthology omnis are great. They didn't include House of X, Powers of X. I think that's okay. They didn't include X of Swords. That's a little weird. Are they going to include Inferno, X-Lies, X-Deaths, Wolverine, the Judgment Day issues that are X-Men, the Sins of Sinister? Are any of these going to be in the anthologies? I'm going to say probably not, simply because there were anthology trades in other countries, and they left out Inferno, X-Lies and X-Deaths, Judgment Day, and Sins of Sinister, but they included other things. So I'm thinking I'm good to go. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I went and, you know, I had Inferno and had X-Lives. I went and bought the Judgment Day Omni. I went and got a Sins of Sinister off eBay just to make sure I was set, because there should have been reprinting X of Swords, and they haven't, because Marvel's weird right now. And then, of course, the Fall of X, Rise of the Powers of X one that I don't like the mapping on. But, you know, this is where I'm at. This is like my Krakoa shelf. It shall evolve and change as time goes on. But these are what I've bought and I got. And I'm like, all right, I think everything else is going to be included, at least that's relevant. Like, if they don't include the Dark Web issues, I'm going to be fine. But, you know, these events I feel are important. So they're here. Also, technically, this Judgment Day also counts for my Avengers Jason Aaron collection, which is there. Even though the issue is included there, the main event isn't. The tie-in issue is, but the main event isn't. I actually like this event. It's like the Celestials come down to Earth and then start judging everybody. Kind of dig it. Actually, honestly, there's a few Marvel events that I do really like, and that's one of them. So that's Krakoa. Now, of course, while I don't want like figures in front of books, I've kind of decided that at this point. Above books is fine. Hello, Toy Story collection. You're all just chilling here, waiting for your next movie with my straw hat. Anyways, so what I decided up here, like on the top of this Kallax, I was like, all right, what do I put in? So first of all, if you can see behind, I've got like the DC young adult graphic novels that I like, and some of the Black Label, like oversized books that are kind of that weird shape. Over here, these are all my signed copies, like that X-Men Days of Future Past, the Dark Phoenix Saga, the Uncanny X-Men Volume 2, the Kingdom Come, the Flash by Mark Waid, and the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Those are all signed, so those are kind of like there and safe. These are big, oversized DC books that don't fit anywhere else. That's the DC Comics style guide from the 80s in a fun reprint. So then I thought in front of them, statues. So we got my Blue Beetle like movie statue. Got this New 52 Flash statue that was a gift. Got the Bombshells Katana, who is very tall. But you see, the thing I liked about it is that the stands don't stick out over the edge. So they can kind of, I just realized those are some Hellboy figures hiding back there. Anyways, the stands don't stick out over the edge, but the shelf is far enough forward that they're not rubbing up against anything. Like there's a gap behind her. And then we have these, which I don't think I told anybody I got. These are the Mondo 1/6 scale X-Men 97 Wolverine and Nightcrawler. I ordered their Storm, and when I ordered Storm, I was like, oh, I'm very happy to get Storm, because it's Storm. Storm's my favorite X-Men, and I was like, I looked at the Nightcrawler, and I was like, maybe I should get the Nightcrawler. And then at that point, I should get the Wolverine. So I have my three favorite X-Men in this style, and then also like the Wolverine and the Nightcrawler kind of go together for that scene where they're fighting the Prime Sentinels. So I saved up some money for them. These are actually very nice. They are action figures by technicality. They're 1/6 scale action figures. I like them more than like Hot Toys because they don't have like the cloth goods outfits. There's my Mezco 1/12 DC figures back there trying to avoid the dust. So I like that they're fully plastic. But they feel really nice. I like the accessories. Wolverine's pretty good. This Nightcrawler's pretty phenomenal. I'm really, really happy with them. I'm not going to buy the whole line, but I'm just going to have Storm, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler. And when Storm shows up, where's she going to go? I'm just going to reorganize this. Somebody's going to move. Don't know who yet, but that's kind of what's on top here. It is kind of funny because it's like, I realized just now, these are above Marvel, and then these are all DC. All the stuff behind it's pretty much DC. And then we have a little bit of Marvel next to all the DC. This top shelf probably is going to change. Kind of feels a little temporary. I don't know. I like it for now. You know, I bought the main 5 Supermans from the Reign of the Superman arc, which is like my favorite Superman comic. So I got all of them in Mafex. And then I got Mafex, Storm, and Spidey 2099, because those are like 2 of my favorite characters. So that's the Mafex section. Then over here, it's all the McFarlane like movie figures that don't go in the Batmobiles. And I'm still trying to work out a display for the McFarlane Batmobiles because I have like all the movie ones. And so then I want to have like these to go with those. But until then, I kind of want to keep them in a nice spot I can find them. And then also Christopher Reeve Superman's here because why not? And I completely forgot about my Mafex Nightwing. So that's like my whole Mafex collection right there. Mine is Venom 2099 because he's coming out in like, I don't know, a year and a half to 2 years of the way Mafex goes. But that's kind of like what I did there. And then these are just like pops like Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Static. Guys I like, you know, Batman. That's a Hawkman figure over there in the corner. And then the Green Lantern rings for the Ryan Reynolds movie, and then the Superman movie, and then Lantern. So it's kind of like I just wanted stuff there. I kind of like it. It'll change, but for now, it works. And then now I got the DC shelf, this is the only shelf that's retained because this was custom built. And it still works, like, incredibly well. Like, this is one of the sturdiest things ever, and it's, like, nailed to the wall. So I'm not going to mess with this. I'm just going to reorganize it. All right, so starting off, the DC Finest are all grouped together. You know, I've been flip-flopping. Like, do I want to put all the Batmans with all the Batman? Do I want to put, you know, separate it by character? But I've ultimately decided that DC Finest's spines look so good together. Kind of like the Marvel Epic Collection spines look really good together, that it just doesn't matter, you know, that they're sorted out differently. That's what reading lists are for. I don't need them to be sitting next to each other. DC Finest look great, right? So I've got all the Batman ones, which is, you know, like the post-crisis ones, plus the one Golden Age one. I got Blue Beetle, got the 2 Catwomans, got both Green Arrows, got the Demon, Etrigan, Hawkman, which this is funny. I started reading this when I got it, and I was very excited, and I was rereading the stuff that I've read, like, years ago, and then I just kind of, like, lost momentum, and I need to go back and finish that. DC Finest Horror, Legion of Superheroes, that's a bookmark because that's where the Legion, the third Silver Age Legion Omnibus ends there. And so the back half of that is what's new for me. I haven't read the Super Friends comic yet. I got it kind of on a whim. Haven't checked it out yet. Peter David Supergirl, which I didn't ultimately like as much as I did before. Team Ups, Teen Titans. I've been reading through this DC War volume, which has been kind of interesting. So then I had decided, all right, the rest of the DC shelf, priority, thick trades, right? Compendiums and thick trades. So Animal Man. So Aztec, a character that just doesn't get any love. He's going to be on this shelf forever because they're never going to do a new reprint of that. Cassandra Cain Batgirl, still wanting more of that reprinted. Stephanie Brown Batgirl. The Nightfall, like, thick books. I thought about getting the Nightfall Omnis, but it's still missing stuff, and I'm kind of waiting to see when DC Finest is probably going to just cover that. Might have everything. Then it's more consistent. More compendiums, Batman Beyond, Batman Black and White, the Blue Beetle Jaime Reyes paperbacks, the Booster Gold Complete 2007 series paperbacks, the Dr. Fate by J.M. DeMatteis, the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern ones, the Green Lantern Rebirth. This is the Venditti Hawkman series, which is hard to see because it's dark. That doesn't have any other printing. That's one of my favorite comics ever, so that's why it's there. And Justice League International. The big old Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 poster. And Wonder Woman for President. Because, God, someone's got to save us. Anyways, so then down here, this is hardcovers, right? And specifically Omnis, right? So it became focus of Finest, Compendiums, Omnis, everything sorts in between. So this to here doesn't make sense alphabetically, right? Justice League to Batgirl? No, of course. Justice League to Justice League. So we got the JLA thick trades that are collecting everything. We got Commandy by Jack Kirby. We got Lobo's Big Frat and Compendium 1, which hasn't gotten a second one solicited, which is kind of a bummer. I also haven't read the first one, so I probably should do that. The 4 Milestone Compendiums, Steel and Steelworks, because Steel's one of my favorites. That's why he's here. Regardless of format, he's here. The Alan Moore Saga Swamp Thing paperbacks, which sounds like we're getting an omnibus. That's with the original colors soon, so looking forward to that. And then the Terrifics. And then over here is just Legion of Superheroes. So for Legion, I put my Omnis, my hardcovers, my paperbacks all together. It cuts off at a certain point. I don't have like any of the Bendis stuff on the shelf. I don't have all the New 52 stuff on the shelf. I just kind of kept it to like the Legion stuff I really like. So the Silver Age, which I've been working on for years, I'm so close to finishing Silver Age Omni 3. I'm so close. It is really hard to read early Superman family stuff. But then we got like the stuff I really do like, the Levitz era, the Great Darkness Saga, the 5 years later omnibuses, and some of the thick trades down there that they did release for Legion. And now we'll talk about the Omnis. So Omnis alphabetical, the Gail Simone, we got Batman Ego, Batman and Harley Quinn, Under the Red Hood, the Grant Morrison volumes, the Paul Dini, the Batman and Robin by Tomasi, the Batman and Robin, no, it's Batman Rise and Fall of the Batman, which is a tiny in volume. It's actually Detective Comics, not Batman. Batman Spawn, Batwoman, Birds of Prey, Catwoman, Catwoman New 52, Deadman, Far Sector. We got Green Arrow, Archer Quest, we got Hawkman, Jeff Johns, we got All-Star Western, we got Justice League of America Bronze Age, which I looked up is actually the first omnibus I ever bought because it was on a super sale, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to try out an omnibus. I love the early Bronze Age. And then the Action Comics and Detective Comics 90th Anniversary collections. And then down here, continuing alphabetically, we got Phantom Stranger, got Robin, Son of Batman, which is weird. The only other Robin, like, omnibus is the Bronze Age, and then there's this Robin Deluxe hardcover, and that's it. Weirdly unrepresented character in this format. Secret Six, the two Spectres that we've gotten so far, the Silver Age and then the Ostrander. What is this? I just figured out where I put this. It's my Batman Beyond Batarang. I was looking for this, and I was like, where did I put this? Turns out I just slipped it right in here in the shadow, and I just caught a glimpse of the red. Anyways, let's see. Oh, this is the Alan Moore Superman volume, which is wild that it's just like, oh, here's everything Alan Moore did in one volume. Exile, Triangle Years, Unchained, Rebirth era, Superman and Action Comics. I like the deluxe hardcovers more than the Omnis, because the Omnis skip over issues, those don't. Super Sons, Warlord, and then my Wonder Woman collection, which is the first two Perez volumes, which I want the third to get reprinted, the Rucka, the Simone, and then I put some extra trades down there. Those don't matter too much. I put some Birds of Prey, I think the Batman White Knight hardcovers down there. I just needed a little bit of a gap filler. I'm leaving space because there's the Brainiac Reborn omnibus for Superman coming out very soon. There's a couple others, so I want to have room down there for what's coming. Also sitting up here is just related to my Superman stuff. These are what I got trade-wise that need to fill gaps. Let's see if I get the autofocus to work. It's the Lois and Clark series by Jurgens. It's the Lois and Clark follow-up stories by Jurgens they did later. And then Challenge of the Super Sons, which was the only thing missing because I got the second printing of the Super Sons Omni, which had everything but Challenge, and not the third printing. I didn't feel like rebuying it just for that, so I just got that. So I just kind of leave those there because they're, they should be with this era, and it kind of like completes the era, so they stay right there. Otherwise, I don't like putting stuff on top of the books, as you can notice. I used to do that. I used to cram space. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just going to leave it for those because I do love my Rebirth era Superman. You're also probably wondering, what's with the soda cans? Those are blind figures that Funko made of Hawkman, Blue Beetle, and Jaime Reyes. I just have those for those characters, and I didn't know where to put them because I'm like, I don't want them to get dinged. It's fine being right there. They don't block anything, and if I need to move them, I can move them. Over here, it's my G.I. Joe box set, my dad's G.I. Joe box set, my Transformers box sets, the Skybound ones. When I was trying to find a place for these, I was like, okay, I need to make sure they don't... Oh, also there's Simba. Hi, Simba. And someone save Oswald. He looks scared. Anyways, when I was trying to figure out where to put these box sets, I was like testing out all kinds of areas. And the thing that was key to me was that I could go over here and grab like a triangle era omnibus and have full room to pull it out. And if I could do that, successful. If I could come over here and pull an entire volume of this out with no issue, then I was good. So line them up against the wall, works for me. So up here on the closet door is a series of keychains. It's talking about clutter, and here's all my dang keychains. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these keychains. They're just there for right now. There's some one-piece keychains. There's some non-other one. These are Hallmark ornaments. These aren't keychains, but we got Spider-Man, we got Wolverine, we got this really cool Fantastic Four one. And speaking of, up on the wall is those Marvel Legends 3 3/4-inch figures they did for a bit that were kind of Kenner-inspired, and I liked the card art on them. Didn't collect them all, but you know I got the Fantastic Four. So I got Doom, got Reed, got Sue, got Johnny, got Ben. Fun fact here, you see everybody's got the same artwork there, right, of like the Fantastic Car, except for Johnny, because he's the one putting out the signal for them to summon the Fantastic Car. So pretty cool. Silver Surfer, of course, goes next, and then the X-Men, yeah, Storm, Wolverine, Dark Phoenix, Cyclops, and Magneto. I forgot his name for a moment. I was going to call him Psylocke. Anyways, Cyclops and Magneto. Is it the most basic X-Men lineup? Yeah, pretty much. Also, Iceman's didn't make the cut for space. But he also doesn't fit the pairings, right? Because, like, of course, you got Storm, my favorite, and then you got, like, the love triangle, and then you got Magneto. So, you know, I just didn't really find a spot for Iceman. I don't think I need to. Same with the Sentinel. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. But this is kind of a nice, like, consistent, like, there's the four plus their main villain. There's the four plus their main villain, and then Silver Surfer in the middle. And then there's the wall that was formerly the Marvel Legends collection, which will have to be relocated and recatalogued at a different time. It is now a new shelf, and look at them helmets. I have had these three helmets. Oh, hey, baby Groot. I stuck them back there. I've had these three helmets floating around for a bit. They were sitting on the floor. I was always worried something was going to drop and damage them, and I thought, nope, needs to change. So, Star-Lord, obviously. Star-Lord's one of my favorite Marvel characters, and since he wears the movie helmet in the comics so much, I'm like, cool, I need the movie helmet. So got that. Magneto, of course, big X-Men fan. Love the way that looks. Got that one on sale. And then I got the Doctor Doom helmet, because Doctor Doom is still my favorite Marvel villain, even though they're trying to milk him so much right now. I'm kind of tired of seeing him in stories. But, yeah, put those up there. Beautiful. Not stuff that can fall off, not stuff I got to worry about. Nice, clean, looking really good. And then the shelf, it's funny, they're Marvel helmets. What's on top of the Marvel helmet shelf? Well, you know, not Marvel. How about that? So this is basically just like the non-Marvel DC shelf with one shelf of Marvel. This is just kind of what I'm doing for now, and I really like it because a lot of my non-Marvel DC stuff I just kept in the back because I was like, oh, this shelf's Marvel, this shelf's DC. And then it's like, well, what if I just want to read Transformers? And so it was really hard to like do so. So again, it's all about simplicity, right? So first of all, Sonic IDW. Still bothered that Volume 1 had a different logo treatment than the rest of it, but at least the rest has stayed consistent. And then also annoyed that the 30th Anniversary Deluxe Editions are normal hardcovers, not the oversized. Anyways, we got the Energon Universe hardcovers. We got the Universal Monster Image hardcovers. Got the Radiant Black Massive Editions. Got my other Massiveverse paperbacks. I've been trying to fill out the collection. I know I have the first 2 volumes of Rogue Sun and the 2 volumes of Dead Lucky and the first volume of Inferno Core Red, and I couldn't figure out where I put them. So these are just here for now until I do that. Here's all the Elvira Dynamite series. In case anyone's wondering the reading order, there you go. That's the reading order. Got the 3 Thundercats trades that exist, the 1 Gargoyles that exists. Here's all the James Bond Dynamite that I got so far. If you guys have been following the Comic Haul, it's been a little mini collection. The Rocco's Modern Life collection of all the Nickelodeon Kaboom comics. The Bill and Ted collections, right? Because Boom did the Marvel comic, then they did an omnibus of their comic. Dark Horse did a comic, so that's all together. And then Planet of the Apes minus the Epic collection, which is over there. So that's, you know, this is all I have, because I've been trying to track these down, but them being out of print isn't helpful. But this is like the Boom Omnibus for all the modern movie stuff. We got the Green Lantern crossover, and then the 2 miniseries that Marvel did, the 1 modern, 1 classic. And then here's that cool Tron trade they put out recently. So that's kind of like, that's that. That's where it's at. And then Turtles. Everything went orange on me. Color tone, come back. You work good over here. Why is everything orange now? Dang, you look at one shelf too long and everything turns orange. Color tone has been restored. All right, so I decided because the Mirage compendiums were complete with every issue except for the Rick Veek issues, and it has like Tales and all that. I decided those are going to be my primary on the shelf. I have the Ultimate Collections in the back. That'll be on a different shelf. I'll show some other time. It's not finished currently. Those 3 are there. And then, of course, all 18 volumes in the source book of the IDW hardcovers, which I have thought about doing a reread since I have all of it now. And I'm probably going to do it because it's really nice just to be able to come over here. I can grab this, read a couple issues of Turtles, and just put it back. It's really nice. Kept the last run in here. And then the 40th anniversary Turtles, Black, White, and Green, and the Naruto crossover, just because I need some space filler. I don't know what's ever going to fill there because I'm not feeling the current IDW era enough to buy it. So, yeah, that works for now. All right, down here we got my Hellboy and BPRD collection. So, there's a lot. This is all the Hellboy Omnibus paperbacks. These are all the Hellboy extra stuff, Weird Tales and all that. Young Hellboy. I kind of tried to put the BPRD stuff in chronological order, approximately. So, like, 46 to 48, 52, 54, 57, 55 to 57. Then I've got these, which take place between, like, 58 and 62. So these will probably get combined into an omnibus at some point, but they're there for now. Plague of Frogs, Hell on Earth, Devil You Know. The Being Human and Vampire series that never got put into any omnibuses. Lobster Johnson, Abe Sapien. Stuck these here just because I needed a little bit of space, so it's sort of Hyperborea and Serpent in the Garden. All right, and down here, the 2 Witchfinder Omnis, the Hellboy Secret Histories Omni. You can see I've got these 4 trades sitting here, which is Rise of the Black Flame, House of Lost Horizons, British Paranormal Society, and Silver Lantern Club. Those are there because they're going to be Secret Histories Volume 2. So I'm just leaving them there, so that way when Secret Issues Volume 2 comes in, swap it in, pull those out, sell them off, that kind of thing. Frankenstein Underground and New World. And then Koshei Deathless, Koshei and Hell. These are both... and this plus Serpent in the Garden are going to be the Koshei and Hell Omnibus. So, again, I'm going to replace that. Crimson Lotus and all those extra stuff there. All right. Scrapper. Really neat indie comic about talking dogs and trying to escape a bad situation. None of the dogs die. Highly recommended. High read. Tokyo Ghost. Very depressing, but very good artwork. The Scott Pilgrim box set is here because I need a gap filler. Things shift around. Same thing with the Milestone Returns hardcovers. I just didn't have a spot over there for them yet, so they're here for now. That's where they're at. And then the Invincible compendiums. So we got 3 Invincibles, Universe, Wolfman, Tech Jacket, Battle Beast, and then the Marvel Team-Up issue is right there. So I've got all that. Nice and neat. I would have put these up there with other Image stuff, but I didn't want to have to reach up to grab a big, thick book. I thought it'd be better if it was lower. Kind of made sense to me. And this is what I call Overflow Marvel. This is stuff I really care about that just doesn't have Omnis or Epics, right? So my Ghost Rider that's not in Omnis or Epics, all of this, all of that, Ghost Rider, right? You know, the 2000s run, we got the Robbie Reyes stuff, we've got the Damnation and Ed Brisson and Cosmic Ghost Rider and Helverine and the Ghost Rider 44 stuff. Then my Guardians that aren't in Epics, so we got Annihilation and Conquest, because I didn't buy the Annihilation and Conquest Epics, because I already have these. Good enough for me. War of Kings, Realm of Kings. So that's like this chunk here is the, what do we call it? The events, right? Then Annihilators, which is actually, these are going to get pulled out soon. Annihilators and Annihilators Earthfall, because there's an Epic coming out with those included. Then we've got the Bendis run, the second half of the Bendis run, the Dugan run, the Cates run, the Ewing run, and then the Lansing and Kelly run. And then all the solo stuff, so Star-Lord, Rocket and Groot, Drax, Gamora, Yondu, that sort of thing. I have a ton of Hawkeye beyond this, but I thought I'd just put the Fraction run on here because I do like the Fraction run. Soul and Tamaki's She-Hulks. Silver Surfer, again, whatever wasn't in Epic or Omni, so Devolution, the Rebirth stuff, Ghostlight, Black. Actually realizing that Silver Surfer Black came out before Rebirth. So I screwed up the reading order already. It's not like there's too much of a continuity order. Rebirth came weird. It takes place during the 90s run, but it came out at this point, so it's just kind of there because it references later things. The Vision and Scarlet Witch Saga Volume, All My Werewolf by Night, My Wonder Man, then Infinity Gauntlet, and War. And then rounding out this shelf, The Power Ranger hardcovers. The Pink Ranger being misaligned bothers me. More so than the Go-Go not having the white stripe. But the misalignment, I want an apology for someone at Boom, because it just looks awful now. And then the He-Man section, which is the He-Man DC Omnibus, my second ever Omnibus. And then we have the other He-Man DC books, Injustice Versus and Masters of the Multiverse. They never did an updated Omni of this to include those, and I think it's because you can't add any more to this. This thing's already like almost 1,600 pages. And then all the Dark Horse stuff is there. So, oh, and the mini comics that I have. I don't have all the mini comics from the Origin stuff, but there's the ones I have right there. Then I got Manga. So I'll show the One Piece side of things, but because I needed a spot for Kaido and Big Mom, I decided to leave the shelf here. And this shelf is just going to be manga, right? So we got the One Piece like spinoffs. We got Kaiju number 8 and its spinoffs. Cat's Eye, City Hunter, Devilman, Tiger and Bunny, and then some Undead Unluck, some Spider-Man, some Cyberpunk, and a little Batman and the Justice League. And the idea with this shelf is I wanted to make sure that I could move it because behind this shelf is a wall plug. And because there's space with the wall plug, the Wonder Woman box set I have for the 75th anniversary, the Ghost in the Shell box set, my Frankenstein and Dracula Kickstarter set, all hang out there. Don't look at that mess. We're not dealing with that today. So this is going to get readjusted, but for now, I mean, this front section's going to stay. I got like a villain section going on here for One Piece. I've got like my favorite characters up front, which is really fun. I got the Thousand Sunny. I got the Funko Pops of the vehicles. I've got the Funko Pops of a lot of things. It became a Funko Pop land. I also really like these, the Wanted poster boxes. Those are really cool. Got the bronze statue, Robin, and then, I got Nami, Vivi, and Robin chilling up there. The reason why it's going to change is because I have some more Pops coming. I've got Bartolomeo, and I've got Robin and Frankie, and a couple others that I need to I started working on this, and I was like, no, you should wait until your other ones are in, then you can redo it. So that's how it became a sea of Pops. We'll see what it looks like some other time. So in case you were wondering where my spawn is, there's my spawn, the 7 compendiums plus Haunt. It's a little gappy. There's a Dragon Ball art book fill in space. There's a King Spawn compendium coming out soon, so it's going to fill up. I just thought it'd be good to have Spawn over here because they are really heavy since they're on glossy paper with black inks. That'd be better than putting them on the other shelf just because this is a really sturdy piece of furniture. It's a nightstand. There's some Mazinger robots. I just realized I left a Spawn in the middle of the Mazingers. I've not noticed that, and you can tell from the dust, not in a very long time. But, yeah, Rat City Spawn just hung out with the Mazingers, and I just didn't notice. So there's that. I've got other books over here. Chainsaw Man box set. Pochita. These are One Piece art books, Naruto art books, that kind of thing. These are trades that are not going on the main shelf, but are going into the comic hall. So I just need them here. So I remember they need to be for the comic hall. And then here's books, because I read the books that don't have the pictures. Yeah, so I'm reading Moonraker right now. I have all the Bond novels, which was a harder collection to put together than I thought it would be. But Barnes & Noble had them all eventually, so that's all the Bond novels. I've got some other stuff over here. I got a Star Wars book I'm reading called The Living Force, and a few others that need to be read. But I try to cut out a part of the day to read just novels instead of comics. I think it's enriching. I also find the Bond novels to be fascinating in comparison to their movie adaptations. So there's that. To finish the room tour, my desk is like all One Piece figures right now, plus a couple lightsaber people. I need to clean this. This doesn't look great. The DC shelf is still pretty much in place. Got my Sentai autographs over there. DC shelf pretty much still in place as it has been for years. It might change, though, depending on what the scale is on the new Mattel line, if they fit the old figures at all. Still these guys sitting over here. Got some Voltron, some Big O, some Kaiju number 8. I got a big old, this is technically a towel, but it makes for a nice banner for a Man with a Mission. Got my TV. And what's this? What's this? I found a place for Sailor Moon. So basically over here, I got myself a nice little manga shelf. So Basically, I've had these two shelves. I had these Dragon Ball figures here for the longest time. But then obviously I have manga that's too tall for those shelves, so I moved the Dragon Ball figures down, which, you know, Boo has to sit now. But yes, this is where I'm putting my Sailor Moon Eternal Editions, which will eventually go that way. And then I've got like the X-Men manga and then the Seven Seas classic manga hardcovers that I do love and appreciate. This is the shelf for the Dragon Ball Viz Bigs. I should be able to fit the last 4 down there. We've got, of course, the Gundam Thunderbolt on 2 shelves. All the other Gundam mangas over there. There's Jacko and Sandland are there. So they're kind of in proximity. That's all Gundam. And then on the bottom shelf is all the Gundam The Origin hardcovers. Not the most convenient shelf in the room, but I don't pull up like The Origin that often, so I think it's okay. I've mostly been reading these Dragon Ball Viz Bigs and the Sailor Moon, and those are easy to reach. So another benefit to the extra space over here that I haven't had in a long time, maybe you'll start seeing this backdrop more. I really like the way it looks. You know, I've been doing the comic videos where I film like my toy stuff, my Blu-ray stuff, which is fine. It's been working, but like when I did, I don't remember which video I did something talking about omnibuses. Every time I do the comic haul, it's always like, oh man, I've got to lug all these omnis to the back. Kind of a pain in the butt. Would be a lot easier if I would just, I don't know, set up the lights, set up a table, just pull a book off the shelf instead of having to drag it all the way to another room. Maybe something you'll see in the very near future. Key takeaway from this whole project experience is I like having space. You know, I think for a long time it was just like, just fill the space with whatever I could. Like this area where I'm sitting has been Megazords and Batmobiles and whole Transformers collection in boxes and all kinds of things. If you've followed my channel for the last 17 years, you can kind of see like every time I do a collection tour, it all looks a little bit different. But it's always looked crowded, you know what I mean? Like it's always been kind of a crowded feel. And it's not like this is sparse in any way. I have like, I don't know, 300 books in this corner. But it just feels nicer, if that makes sense. Like just having books on the shelves and not having like a ton of toys in front of it. Just having like, you know, it's not minimalist by any means. It's still insanely extravagant. But just having the ability to just go, you know what? I want to read that issue where Godzilla gets turned into a rat. Or gets turned down to the size of a rat, I should say. You know, and I can just do that without having to, like, think about it. I was doing this big Hellboy reread, and I got stuck because I was moving stuff around and blocked the shelf that the Hellboy books were on in the back. Now I don't have to worry about that, because it's right here. So, I don't know. It's a big mental health boost, that's for sure. Also, I'm super tall, and I can just kind of, like, lay down on the floor in this area and just kind of, like, stretch my back if I want to, and that's honestly really nice. It's nice being able to just walk up to the shelf. I've been doing it at live streams, probably to an annoying degree lately. It'll be like, we'll talk about a comic, and like, oh, they reprinted this comic, and I'll just, like, run over to my shelf and grab it off my shelf. Why? Because I haven't been able to do that before. Weird as that sounds, that brings me a lot of joy. So, you know, it's just kind of like a thing that's like, what I'm working on, and I was working on this, and I moved stuff to another room, and then that room's got to get redone, which is even more extensive than this. This is like the warm-up. When I get that room redone, I put the stuff the way I want it. I'm going to have a bunch of stuff left over that's not going to fit on those shelves, and I'm probably going to look at it and say, time to sell it. Time to give it away to somebody. Time to move it along. You know, like I think, you know, I've been a collector for long enough, I've been alive long enough that I've accumulated a lot of stuff. And I haven't done a lot of downsizing. And I don't even know if it would be considered downsizing, but I kind of want to just like put things where they fit, make the space feel comfortable, and then look at the stuff that doesn't fit, and then really decide if it's something I want to keep or not. Because I'm finding that I don't really need it anymore. I've got a bunch of stuff that just needs to move on to a different home. Somebody's going to appreciate it better for me and just keep moving it around instead of actually like appreciating it. Like this setup now, this makes me appreciate things a lot more. I think that's kind of an important thing. I think a very important thing. So on that note, though, I don't really have anything else to say besides hope you enjoyed this, because, you know, everybody's always like, oh, do a room tour, and I'm like, it has to be ready first, because I don't want to say I have public embarrassment of like a mess, but Kinda. I mean, it was such a mess. It was like, you know, what would the room tour even be? It'd just be a blob as I'm like moving the camera around. I think also getting lighter colored shelves kind of helps everything stand out better. Good contrast and stuff. So anyways, there will be updates, of course. I still got to do the back room. That's a whole project and a half. But I'm happy with this one. I'm just going to enjoy the feeling this one gives me for a while because I like it. So on that note, I'm going to wrap up because I'll just keep yapping all day. Hit the subscribe and the like and the comments and the hype if they're available to you. If you made it this far, you probably already have done that, so thank you very much. If you're not already, join our Discord server. You can join as a channel member, get perks like early access to videos, and some special shoutouts. Let's get some special shoutouts to some of our channel members. Special shout out to all of our channel members, including these Captain tier members: Kyle A, 00711, Mojazz, Infinite 1985, Light Yagami, Tim Jekyll, Actual Lee, Super Robozilla Go, Movie Stash, Justice Outlaw 8468, Matthew Nichols, BAL, Guapo-san, The One Joe, and Gangshi. Thank you all for your support of this channel, viewers and channel members alike. If you so wish, you can find me on social media on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Soundout12. You can also find my wonderful graphic designer on social media and Discord at DarkClaw643, and you can find Hero Club at hero-club.com for comic reviews and more. And until next time, it's the Soundout saying, I'm appreciating the space I have right now. I really, really, really like this. I just feel good over here. I don't know what that says, but I just feel good. I just feel good.